colorful. So freaking colorful. My God, it looks like a Christmas tree. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Ask DT AMA, Ask Me Anything, Q&A, whatever you want to call it. I tell you, this is awesome. I mean, we started the memberships. The more memberships, the more custom emojis we can make. It looks like a freaking Christmas tree. This is what it's all about. This is what I always wanted to see. I like it. I like it. And you know what? Big shout out to everyone who is tuning in by Twitter, Facebook, Periscope, Twitch, Video Motion, because not everybody likes YouTube. Want to welcome everybody tonight. It's been a very rough day for yours truly, my family. If anybody tuned in to last night's show, about 5 minutes before we left, a lot of you already knew that I had to take my father to the hospital this morning. He's still with us, by the way. I'm not trying to set up anything that tragic. But I had to drive him this morning to St. Francis Hospital. He had to be there for 7 to have a couple of stents put in his heart. Stents are no joke, but, you know, didn't think it was that serious. And right before we finished the show last night, I said that, I can't help but to think back a couple of years ago when my mom told me that she was going in to the hospital to just get her artery cleaned up or something. 24 hours later, we get a phone call, get to the hospital because your mom may not make it. Pronounced dead twice. She had 3 of her valves all screwed up. They actually had to put a pig valve in her. And she's still never been the same ever since. And the thing is that we thought the surgery was going to be nothing too serious, and she lied to us. She didn't want us to worry. So I left you all last night saying, there's just a little side of me that makes me think that, my father doesn't do the same. Now, this time I really don't think he did the same thing. But we got a phone call today at around 10 o'clock from a surgeon saying that my father has to get coronary artery bypass surgery. They check everything out first before they put the stents in. And 3, I guess, arteries, I don't know, 3 were clogged. 1 was 95% clogged. And if any of you remember Barry Windham, when they called him the Widowmaker, I know the gimmick was kind of corny. I honestly never knew that there was a form of a heart attack called the Widowmaker. Go figure. Doctor said that my father was probably within days, maybe weeks, of getting a Widowmaker. That's how blocked it was. So tomorrow morning at 6:30, my father's going in to get coronary artery bypass surgery. They're going to take some artery or vein from his leg and bypass his heart. They actually hook it up to a machine and actually stop it so they could do this. So it's been rough. It's been rough. I definitely needed to do the show tonight, hang out with all of you, talk about whatever's on your mind, get my mind off it a little bit, because if I'm rattled this much and my mom is rattled, I can only imagine what my father's going through right now. So it's rough, man. Doug Eaton, good friend of the show, longtime viewer, listener. Mish and I were going to pay a little tribute and a little respects to his mom. You may remember about 2 weeks ago, me and Mish had about 2 minutes of some really serious convo on a Monday night talking about Doug Eaton's mom, who was very ill. And she passed away about a week ago. Cancer. It's rough. So, just don't take for granted the people that you care about. I just thank God. It's weird, but I thank God my father had that stress test done. It's strange because for any of you out there, by the way, shout out to Disturbing Media. Couldn't put him on the list. Welcome him to the family because he joined right before I went live. So I will put him on the shout outs next week. And by the way, Disturbing Media happens to be Shaheen Nuclear Heat Graphics, who does all my artwork. And if you haven't seen it already, go check out my Twitter. He actually made, remember Bernie Sanders with the mittens sitting like this with the mask on? I did a little spoof of that not too long ago. He actually made a shirt of yours truly, spoofing Bernie Sanders. I put it up about noon today. 5 shirts already sold. That's how good the design was. But I'm obviously trying to get myself in a little bit of a better mood. Trust me, I'm not trying to get anybody upset tonight. But, you know, for any of you out there that followed me for a long time, know my Uncle Joe, the one that took me in when I got kicked out of my house, the one who, when I was a kid, early wrestling fan, had to show me that it was fake when I was like, I don't know, 9 years old, 10 years old, whatever it was. He was my father's brother. And about 10 years ago, he felt off, and he lived in Florida. He had not been talking to my father for very long time. And doctor told him, you got to come in and get a stress test. Day or two before the stress test, my uncle, I found this all out later on, but my uncle told the doctor, he's like, look, let's reschedule for next week. I got to do a couple of things and this and that. So they were scheduled for a week later. He died 2 days later of a heart attack. My father was supposed to get a stress test this past Tuesday. We got hit with I don't know how many inches of snow. I swear on my father, this is not a joke, and I'm not exaggerating this one bit. But we got a snowstorm Tuesday. My father was supposed to get a stress test. So my father calls the place up, and the place opened very late because of the snow. My father was going to reschedule the test. He ended up going later on in the day anyway. And that probably saved his life. While my father was getting the stress test done, he got very, very lightheaded, very dizzy. Anybody that's ever have a stress test done knows you do get lightheaded from it, but this was obviously something more serious. They picked up on it right away. They laid my father on the floor. They put smelling salts, which I never knew they did that with stress tests to revive you. And they did a sonogram of the heart and some other things, and they told my father, you got to get to the hospital right away, get some stents put in. So, hence, today was the day he was supposed to get the stents. They do the checking to make sure that it's nothing serious, more serious, and boom, they find what they found. So, from 3 stents, my father now has to get 12 inches from here all the way down to his belly button. They open him up. They open him up. So we're a little rattled right now. So, you know, if you want to say a prayer for him, I know not everybody prays out there, but, you know, by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, I hope to hear good news. And the first 24 hours is a big deal, but he's going to have to stay in the hospital for 1 to 2 weeks, they said, which might be good because they do the COVID vaccine in the hospital, and we're all scheduled 2 weeks from today to get the second shot of the vaccine. So it might be better that he's in the hospital and gets the second shot in the hospital. So Sam said they opened him up as well. Anytime they cut you open like that. Now, I got a scar from the top of my ass, or actually lower back to like below my ass. when I broke everything in my car accident. But opening up the hip is a lot different than opening up over here. So anyway, so that's what's going on. Not going to do the show all that long today, but we'll have a fun show. I just thank you for giving me the first 10 minutes to just let you know what the deal is. I know my problems are not yours, and they shouldn't be. But, you know, there's a lot of things going on now. The bad news is I will not be doing a show Friday night. I will be staying with my mom because my mom is just very distraught. You know, no preparation. You know, we expected him to be home tonight. Now, everything's in disarray. Now, as far as the contest tonight, the Who Am I don't want to upset anybody, but I decided to hold off on 1 week to give this away. This is the WWF magazine, autographed by Shane McMahon and Vince McMahon. If you look in the lower right-hand corner, it is Beckett authenticated. So it is 1,000% legit. This is just tape to keep it from falling out. We're going to give that away next week. Doesn't mean we're not having a contest tonight. What I'm going to give away tonight is this. 4 Horsemen, Wrestling 87. That is autographed by Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, Ric Flair, Lex Luger, and J.J. Dillon. So that somebody will get. It's the full magazine, by the way. And you know what? I was going through my stuff, and I found an old autographed photo of Sting. It is color. I know it looks black and white and a thing, but I guess the second runner-up tonight will get the Sting photo. So we will do the Who Am I contest in a little bit. I definitely want to get into some of your conversations, whatever you feel like talking about. Before I do anything else, just a couple of quick shout-outs, if you don't mind. First off, shout out to Juan F3. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate it more than you know. The response, you know, on Twitter was amazing. It's amazing. I told my father tonight, and I sent him a tweet about a half hour ago, and there was no response. He's probably sleeping already, so hopefully he gets to read it tomorrow. Franklin Tangelo. Wait, whoa. We cannot have somebody's name cut off over here. So let's see. Let me fix this. There you go. Franklin Tangelo. What's up, my brother? Been listening to me since he's been in high school. Hopefully you just graduated. If you are like long gone high school, you're going to make me feel extremely old. And I thank you very much, my friend. I really do appreciate it. More than you can imagine. After all of these years, to have the support that you all have, it's very humbling, believe me when I tell you. Especially with a lot of garbage that goes on out there. But please, you know, I appreciate the super chats. You know what's going to end up happening? You're going to end up making me donate this. Or you know what? And I'm not saying this to get anybody to do anything else. You have my word. I will post receipts. I will post a picture. If I have to, I will fucking hand deliver it to him myself. Anything that gets raised tonight, I'll match it. I'll probably triple it, and I'll get my father like a huge fucking basket. So the funny thing is how my father is, if I give him fruit and cookies and balloons, he's going to turn around and say, just give me a fucking Whopper. Give me a Whopper with French fries and I'll be happy. And that's the thing that really upsets me about my dad. My dad is, in my entire life, has always been the definition of strength, the definition of health. My father is a triple degree black belt. My father has always been, you see all the vintage photos, my father's always been the one in shape, muscular, you know, toned down, active, son of a bitch, doesn't know when to stop. Then this happens. That's why I say everyone out there is mortal. After what we saw happen to Brody Lee, at 41 years old, shit could happen to anyone at any given time. OKayFabe, what's going on, my friend? Thank you very much, my brother. Definitely next couple of weeks for sure, I want to bring you on and we'll have a discussion. We'll hype it up a little bit, talk about a couple of topics I definitely would love to talk to you about. So, but thank you very much. Thank you very much for that, seriously. Steve Joseph, thank you as well, my friend, and welcome to the family, to everybody's family. I mean, I say it more of like a phrase because of the memberships, but honestly, everybody here is family. You know that. You know that. Solomonster, Jesus. Thanks, man. Seriously. Even if it was 3 cents, thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. I don't get to show the love for a lot of people out there all that much because I try to stay away from social media as much as possible. I go on there to plug my stuff, to let people know what's going on. You know, I don't want to desert it entirely, but I don't sit on social media and read it anymore. You'd be surprised. Since most days I'm on there 5 minutes, if that, you know. By the way, I will tell you one thing in a moment that I know some of you will want to know. Roger Rubio, what's going on, my friend? And, hey, work your ass off, man. Make that money. Make that money, man. I appreciate it. You know you got my support, Roger. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. And Tyree Jones, he's still hanging on his prediction of WWE getting Lashley ready for Brock at Mania. I would not mind Brock versus Lashley. It's, you know why I really would enjoy that tremendously? Because we've gotten used to something with Brock Lesnar that WWE needs to change. Brock Lesnar is not always going to be this monster. You start getting older, and look, it's not happening anytime soon, but you start getting older, you slow down a little, you miss a step here and here and here. I mean, we've seen it happen to everybody. WWE, probably the biggest problem with Brock Lesnar, not that he works a part-time schedule, but for, 7 years, 8 years, however many years he's been back for the most part, every time he's back, talk about people complaining about Charlotte always being in the title picture. Brock, ever since he came back after the UFC and the football and all that other stuff, WWE always puts him right to the top. Always fighting for a championship. Haven't seen Brock Lesnar. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. Brock Lesnar should never be mid-card. Not right now. Brock Lesnar is not mid-card. But there's this perception that whenever Brock comes back, he's got to go for the world title or nothing. And it's weird because Brock Lesnar has said many times, I don't give a shit about the belts. I do my job and I leave. So if WWE had him fight for a secondary title, why would Brock care? So I'm not saying Bobby Lashley is a step down. But if Brock were to come back and have a feud with Lashley, and, you know, Brock has had a couple of feuds that weren't always in the title picture, but you know what I mean. The perception always is Brock is right at the top fighting for a championship. So you have a feud with Lashley. Number one, I think a lot of fans would root for Lashley because Lashley is back full-time. Full-time wrestler, with the exception of Edge right now, because Edge, everything he's doing right now seems to be turning into gold. So Edge, you know, I think he was on Joe Rogan today. And I haven't read all the transcripts yet, but from what I read so far, him talking about Undertaker's comments and this and that, he's saying all the right things. Edge cutting the promo yesterday that NXT lit the fire under his ass to come back, and, you know, the passionate promos he's cutting, you could feel that there is an honest desire. It's not just a paycheck. It's not just, let me get one last hurrah. You know, This guy didn't just hang out home and doing some TV and hanging out with his family and then just wake up one day and say, you know, feels pretty good. Let me go check out the doctor. That guy spent crazy ass time rehabbing, working out, doing everything he possibly could. This way, in case he ever did want to come back, that opportunity could be there. He got a second chance. Daniel Bryan got a second chance. Christian got a second chance. Not everybody gets a second chance. So it's what you do with that second chance. So we'll see what happens. And Tyree, thank you for bringing up some wrestling so we could get on some other topics. And I mean that sincerely. So much love, my friend. Much love. Shout out to Addison Miller. Thank you very much, my friend. And I'll be honest with you, seriously. I will buy my father a basket and I will put everybody's name on it. Everybody. I'll put everybody's name on it and I will show it to you. You know me. I have this thing about me because of all the lies online that I always feel like I got to prove everything that I say. Trust me, I actually thought earlier that maybe some people wouldn't believe what I was saying, you know, about what's going on with my dad. Trust me, you will end up seeing some type of documentation. I just no reason for me to lie. I don't want sympathy like that. I just want my dad better. So, Bob the Builder. I almost said Bob the Butler. Oh, by the way, little early hint. Today's Who Am I contest, it's somebody you've seen on TV more than once over the last couple of months. And I say that because I don't want anybody to think it's a Greg the Hammer Valentine, you know, guess or anything like that. That's an early hint. By the way, before I say anything else, and I'll answer Bob in a second, shout out to King Ace, Level, Lee Sanders, Seth, Rafael Gutierrez, Juan Torres, Derek Gold, Gordon Post, Luis Armando, Joseph Acevedo, Mark Coronado. They're all hanging out in other areas of the social media world. Bob the Builder. If CM Punk had not left in 2014, would the WWE look at him the same way as an Edge or a Randy Orton? Probably not. Probably not, because CM Punk has always spoke his mind and ruffled feathers. And look, a lot of people respect CM Punk for talking how he feels. I'm not comparing me to CM Punk, but since 97, I always vowed to tell you how I feel, even if it pisses people off, even if it's brutally honest, even if my views or opinions are not popular. I take pride in that. And I know there's a lot of people out there that appreciate that as well. People in wrestling. You've seen a few people in wrestling actually say, I love that he just speaks his mind, tell it like it is. Problem with that in business, especially in WWE and entertainment, you're never going to be bigger than WWE or Vince McMahon. All right, Hogan came close in the 80s. Steve Austin came sort of close, but, you know, when Steve Austin walked out in, 03, I think it was, he wasn't bigger than WWE. So CM Punk, I think, would always be viewed as the voice of the voiceless, not necessarily an outsider, but someone who is more of a loner. You know, when you see how he sort of befriended some of his closest friends. I mean, over the years, you've seen some people in wrestling that say, I don't know why he stopped talking to me. I mean, that's CM Punk. He focused on his personal life, his married life, and, you know, walked away from a lot of friends. And, you know, I guess everybody has the right to do that. But, you know, when you look at Randy Orton, it's more of like a locker room leader, a team player. Edge, same thing. Edge, it feels like he's giving back a little bit. I know it doesn't feel that way right now because he's fighting for heavyweight title. But I think when, barring injury, I think when everything is said and done, you're going to say, you know what? Edge is actually going to help a lot of the young guys. I personally think Jericho does as well. I know everybody focuses on his midsection and, you know, the tweets and everything like that. But I hear lots of things behind the scenes of Jericho always lending his ear to the young guys, all these up-and-comers that can't break AEW Dark, that are stuck there. A lot of them get into his ear and ask for advice and ask opinions, and you'd be shocked how much Jericho helps those guys. It's very easy to throw wise-ass jokes on social media, get 20, 30, 40 likes and everything, but you don't know all the stuff that happens behind the scenes. So I think CM Punk would be very respected, but I also believe that CM Punk, you know, 20 years ago, a lot of us fans that thought we were smart to the game, we were mocked, labeled as smart marks. Remember Brian, look, that was 26 years ago. Brian Pillman, the ECW Arena, smart mark. A lot of people in that building didn't even know what smart mark meant. And you're talking about the smart ECW fans, you know? So smart mark is a term since the 90s. And then it led to, oh, you live in your mama's basement, you know, you tough computer, keyboard thug and everything. I'm not saying that CM Punk is any of that, but CM Punk would always be worshipped by that group of individuals, including yours truly. I mean, it's not just regulated to that, but CM Punk would always cater to outside than anything else. So I don't think he would have ever been fully accepted. CM Punk is very unique, very unique. So shout out to Steve Joseph, my friend. Thank you again. Much love, much love, much love. Space Mountain, woo! Oh, his name is cut off too. We got to fix that. There we go. No, that's not it. That's the wrong one. This is the right one. There we go. All right, we leave it at that for the rest of the night. That should work. Oh, I wish my dad was Muhammad Ali, man. Really, you know, he's beaten a lot of adversaries. I mean, deep down inside, I think he will pull through just fine. But, you know, my father's in his 70s. So, you know, when you think of the overall picture, I mean, you know, that's why I always say, when people try to make jokes at me online and say, you're a mama's boy and this and that, I'm like, yeah, so when it's time for my mom and dad to go, I'm not going to be one of those that say, oh, if I could only say I love you one more time. Oh, if I would have spent more time with them. Oh, if I would have. No, man. I spend the time now. So, you know, I got to be realistic about it. So, you know, am I confident that he'll pull through? Yeah. But at the same time, though, you know, shit like this isn't, you know, a simple little procedure, you know. So, NiceAnalogy 24, what's going on, my friend? What's going on? Thank you very much as well. I really do appreciate that. Waiting for your thing to pop up so I can, there we go. There we go. No, thank you, man. Thank you for everybody for tuning in tonight. As always, if you enjoy the show, you know, smash that like button. The more that like button is smashed, the more it tells YouTube that you enjoy the show, the more they refer it to others. I got a little bit of Lenny audio later, about 5-6 minutes. You'll get to hear another weirdo, the person he always talks about. Maybe we'll play it later. We'll see how the mood is. Matt Adkins, what's up, Matt? Much love to you, too. Much love, much love. I can't thank you enough. And I almost feel guilty because I'm not the one having the surgery. But, you know, I'm rattled, man. Absolutely rattled. A lot of you wanted me to give you an update, wanted me to find out. Me, I've always said I'm not the type to pry into people's personal lives. I'm not one that gets starstruck at famous people. You know, I always bring up when I had that opportunity to work for ECW for that last year, pushing tickets, and I got to meet a lot of the people backstage and Paul Heyman and, you know, bringing catering and everything. You know, I've always told that story. Smoked Out, who used to do the Minority Report with me, he used to wrestle for CZW as well and other places. He came with me one time with two girls, and I didn't really need to tell him, but I told all three of them, like, look, when we go backstage, just treat everybody like regular people. She saw either Sinister Minister or Don Callis. I don't remember which one it was. I got to go back and look at Guilty as Charged 2000 to see. I don't remember which one it was. But she's sticking her tongue out, and she's trying to, like, you know, she would have banged one of them if she had the opportunity. We weren't hooked up with them. I just had 4 front row tickets, and I had 2 extra seats. So Smoked Out, it's like, oh, I have 2 girls that could come. Big mistake. Big mistake. But my entire life, as far as being around, you know, like famous wrestlers, talking to people online, I just talk to everybody like regular people. You know, I appreciate and always respect what they have done, but I don't tweet fuck. I don't get all starstruck and everything. And, you know, once in a while, I'll speak out to someone or reach out to someone and everything. And I think there's a comfort zone there with a lot of people. So, long story short, a lot of you know that Lars is no longer in WWE. A lot of assholes the last couple of days. It's almost like they blew a load. Like, oh, they finally got the ultimate this after all the hatred they had towards this guy. And I'm not saying he's a saint, but I saw all these jackasses in the wrestling world writing that he was fired. I reached out to him and I spoke to Lars yesterday online. I'm not going to get into the details. All I will tell you is that some of the interview or some of the comments that are floating around online as to why he left are true. Lars Sullivan was not fired. Lars has a lot of anxiety. A lot of people think that when you're a monster in size, you're 6'5", 300 pounds, look like you could tear down a building, that, oh, how could somebody like that have tremendous anxiety? Please tell me what, you know, an anxiety looks like. Please draw for me what the poster child, what a perfect prime example of someone with severe anxiety looks like. It comes in all shapes, all sizes, all colors, all sexual orientations, preferences, religions. It comes in every form. This guy has severe anxiety. I don't know where it stemmed from. People have speculated. I have speculated. It's not me. It's not my right to personally ask him. You know, did you make those nasty remarks about homosexuality because you were taken advantage of with the, you know, with that video and some of the things that led up to that? I have no right to say that. Bruce Mitchell would do something like that. So anyway, the bottom line is this. He trained his ass off to return to WWE. And the short story of it is that they did the vignettes on TV and he was supposed to come back. I don't know if it was for a match, but he was supposed to come back like a week or two later. He didn't show. And he contacted WWE and he says, look, I'm having severe anxiety attacks again. And I don't think I can do this. WWE respectfully listened and granted his release. That is the story. I know it's not sexy. I know it pisses off people because they wanted every opportunity to say, fuck you. Fuck you, you asshole. You got fired, you scumbag. That's what a lot of people online wanted to do. Fans that really hate him, honestly, I know this sounds messed up, but fans that truly hate him, I respect how you feel. I don't agree. I believe that everybody grows up and deserves a little redemption, depending on what they did. But when you see bloggers and podcasters and websites doing that, that just shows you what pieces of shit they truly are. This guy, I'll say one thing, because he kept it very short and point. I don't want anybody to think I had long, it's not what it was. But do you know, at the very end, I said to him, and I know a lot of you feel this way too. I said to him, I said, look, a lot of us are pulling for you, and it has nothing to do with the ring. We've all had anxiety issues. I've never had it to that point where it totally interrupts my entire life. I dealt with depression when I had my divorce, and it annulled in 99 and 2000. I had a severe depression when I had my car accident. I had a severe depression when I had to put my dog down. But that anxiety to that point, he's got his dream job, and he can't do it because emotionally it's taking over. And when you see all these people out there who showed all, remember the formula I always talked about? That formula was shown in full view when Hana Kimura took her life. We all got to be better. Anxiety, mental illness is something that you should never, take for granted, that it's a real thing, and it takes you over and it controls everything, and you got to do this, and we got to be better, we got to be nice. A couple of weeks later, back to the same scumbags that a lot of people are. So Lars is no angel. Lars has said a lot of messed up shit over the years. I haven't seen anything of late. I wish him well. I don't know if I'll ever communicate with him again. But to the point of what I was just saying, when I told him that a lot of us are pulling for him, it has nothing to do with the ring, he put himself aside. He's like, no, dude, I'm pulling for you. And that was pretty damn cool. So I'm not emotional right now. Today I'm just physically, emotionally drained. We had a great show last night. I didn't go to bed till almost 2, and I had to get up at 6, take my dad to St. Francis Hospital. And then whatever happened today with that news, it's been a roller coaster ride all day long. So I'm very drained. So right now, Joseph Acevedo, Lars is done with wrestling. Personally, I think the best for him is to, maybe work the indies a little bit. If he could get a part-time schedule with a promotion with very little pressure, then maybe he could do that. But as of right now, he's got severe anxiety issues, and that may stay with him forever. I just hope that he can, reel it in a little bit. Put it this way, anxiety is something that a lot of people deal with for their entire life. Medication, no medication, whatever it is, you have to find a balance somewhere. Maybe the balance for Lars is to never wrestle again. Maybe the balance for him is to work a part-time schedule, ease himself back in. I don't know. All I know is that, social media is probably not something that's going to help him deal with whatever is going on. So, anyway, sorry if it's, Danny Morgan, you nailed it. Just like Kylie Ray. Different situation that led up to it, but her anxiety got to the point, and it was right before the pay-per-view with Deonna Purrazzo. That was it. And we all sit there as wrestling fans like, That's your dream job. We would all love to be in that position. How do you just walk away like that? That's how severe anxiety is. Thank you, Mark. I don't mind telling it like a human being. I know it might be boring to some people out there, but somebody's got to do it, right? I guess. Anyway, something else I wanted to... Oh, you know, Steve Cutler, Forgotten Sons of Bitches, as we call them. Steve Cutler got his release today. He said it was out of nowhere, surprise, didn't see it coming, but he's hoping, you know, for bigger and brighter things. Something else that came out tonight that was pretty interesting. Deonna Purrazzo, and a lot of you may still not know that Deonna Purrazzo is dating Steve Cutler. Well, if you remember a bunch of weeks ago that Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler were at ringside with King Corbin, and then all of a sudden King Corbin came out by himself. Remember when we heard that somebody on the SmackDown roster caught COVID? And, you know, we said you can't speculate. If they want to come out and reveal it, fine. But Steve Cutler and Deonna Purrazzo both had COVID in January. Did not experience any symptoms at all, but Steve Cutler had COVID. So that's why he was not on TV. WWE, you know, it's a shame because, you know, you look at baseball, football, wrestling, maybe not to that extent, but you see in big competitive sports, if somebody goes out with a pretty big injury or any type of injury, that you're out for an extended period of time, there are the players trying to get your spot. Happens in wrestling as well. There are people that it's nothing personal, but you have a spot that someone else can have or take. So in the case of Steve Cutler, you wonder if he never caught COVID and was never taken off TV, would he still be with WWE? But he got off TV, and then I guess the feedback for Corbin's henchmen or whatever they were was not very good. It just didn't feel like it advanced anything. And while he was out, WWE was like, hey, you know what? Not even going to bring him back. So I figured I'd share that with you. Travis is asking me to answer his question. Travis, I'd appreciate it if you could tell me what that question was. Because I'm looking over here and I don't see it. So if you don't mind retyping it, I'll be more than happy to answer it. Absolutely. Peanut Butter is asking, is this a place for wrestling fans? Yes, it is, Peanut Butter. Thursday nights, though, no topic is out of bounds. So it's not all about wrestling tonight. So if you're new to this channel, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays are the ideal days to as far as wrestling goes. Today, you get a mixed bag. So far, we've talked pretty much only about wrestling. So Dream 101, they don't like you too much, Peanut Butter. But I'm sure somebody out there with the name Jelly doesn't mind. 316 says Ray and his son got COVID last December. Yeah, I remember hearing those rumors, but they didn't really say anything. Okay, Lee Sanders, what's up? Thoughts about Tyler Rex becoming transgender? First of all, Lee, I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. The last 2 days have been crazy. And Monday was a little nuts too because I was planning on a regular show. I had to go solo, which I love doing solo shows. But I promise you, this weekend I'm going to have time this weekend. I'll probably be sitting in a hospital and just sitting there with my phone or with a book or something. So I will read it. What's the question he wanted to ask? I'm trying to remember, and I'll answer about Tyler Rex in a second. Shout out to Parix Gaming, tuning in from India, I believe. All right, awesome. You know what? Dream, what do I think of Drew McIntyre crying? I like Drew McIntyre, man. I have no problem with the guy. You know, you look at his whole career, I think in his mind, he always thought he could main event. I think in his mind, he always thought he could be champion. But you don't know what is involved with being the world heavyweight champion until you are the world heavyweight champion. And WWE is a billion-dollar company, and that is a hell of a lot of pressure. So finding your character and tweaking it and, you know, adjusting it, and plus we're in the middle of COVID where you don't even have fans in the building reacting. You don't have that energy to feed off of. And you pipe it in, and it's sort of like trying, you know, as a replacement, but it's not the same. I think under the circumstances, Drew McIntyre has done an excellent job. I really cannot complain about Drew McIntyre at all. At all. Is he going to be, so far, in looking back, is he going to be one of my memorable championship runs if we don't talk about COVID? No, probably not. But under the circumstances, I think he's fine. Oh, I don't care about the crime because Sheamus bro kicked him in or anything like that. Nah, it's just, you know, it's the storyline, close friends. You know, this kick was different. It felt different. I don't have any issue with it. I really don't. Travis thinks that Seth Rollins needs the belt again. I think Seth Rollins needs a couple of matches under his belt. Plus, we need to see where Seth Rollins' character is going from here. Is he going to go right back to feuding with Murphy? By the way, what the hell ever happened with Murphy and Aaliyah? Let's get Rollins back on TV a little bit. Let's see who he feuds with next. And then if it feels like a title is in his immediate future, yeah, I'm fine with it. But right now, we need Seth Rollins back on TV. We don't even know the direction of his character when he comes back. Now, RCWR, Tyler Rex. Lee, what is Tyler's name now? I don't remember it. For those that don't know, Tyler Rex has now become a woman. Tyler Rex, Gabby, thank you. Thank you. Rocky Red, thank you. Tyler Rex is now transitioned into a female. I mean, if that's what he wanted and that makes him happy and that's his identity, what are we supposed to say? Are we supposed to make fun of him because he looks like, you know, this monster of a woman? What does that mean? You know, again, you know, show me what someone with anxiety is supposed to look like. Show me what someone who transitions to a different gender or preference is supposed to look like. I have no issue whatsoever with Tyler Rex transitioning into female. No problem. So I have the same reaction like I do with Nyla Rose. You know, that's their preference. I respect it. That's it. There's no controversy. I mean, you know, I think some people are trying to, I'm not saying Lee is, but I think some people are really trying to make a big deal out of it. I mean, obviously, because we had no idea, it's a big deal. But other than that, be happy for Tyler Rex or Gabby, whatever you want to call her. Paris Gaming, WWE has a lot of fans in India. I agree 1,000%. In fact, WWE had a conference call today, They released their numbers for 2020. I haven't gone through all of them yet, but I've seen enough so far. And they claim that 20 million fans watch the Superstar spectacle. 20 million. I don't understand why. And again, when I always say podcasters, bloggers, websites, it's because I don't bunch casual wrestling fans into what's supposed to be professionals. Professionals are supposed to do a little research and not always act on emotion and for hits and clickbait. Hence some of the things I talk about every week. But I agree 100%. I don't even think they understand how many people are in the country of India. Was it 1 billion? That's 3 times the size of the United States. And they are rabid wrestling fans. So 3 million here, even if you tripled that, that's 9 million. So India, and they're showcasing their talent on WWE television, that it does double than what the U.S. market would have done. What's so whacked out about that? What's so weird about that? I believe it 100%. I truly believe. And here's what goofs don't understand. WWE's a publicly traded company. There's tens of millions of dollars of transactions that happen all the time. They're not going to lie and exaggerate to a level where there's a false sense of security and then the stock increase. I personally think WWE stock is going to go down because from what I've seen so far with the numbers, you're now starting to see how critical Saudi Arabia is for WWE. You pull those shows off, you see a big gap with funds. And WWE cannot be just about Saudi Arabia, NBC Universal, USA Network. I know it's not just that, but when you realize how much of the company is just that, you throw a couple of wrenches in that machine, you see some serious problems quickly. Luis, is that the actual number of people in India? I'm sure it's not exactly 385 at the end. Something tells me that in the last hour, some people have given birth. But he has 1,380,004,385. That might be as of like 2020 or something like that. I'm not going to try to be one of those to say, oh, people tune into the show. I don't know who tunes in and when they tune in. But I do know, because he's told me, that Lars does tune into my stuff on occasion. And yes, he said he really enjoyed it. So I hope he could actually see this. Lars, I'm keeping the 10 spot, though. He hopes Lars gets better. He could understand. And, he's also sorry about depression. It's hard to deal with therapy sometimes. Neil deals with it as well. And thank you. May God be with myself. Lars, stay strong. Look, I'm worried about my father, and I got little things, but not on the level of Lars or my father. But I thank you very much for that. So that's awesome. Seriously. Joseph, YouTube does not offer annual options as far as memberships go, which honestly is a good thing, because I don't think anybody really wants to get locked in for a year for any show. Even though I did lock in for a year for Conrad, I bit the bullet. I signed up for Conrad for a whole year. The Kurt Angle show is what did it for me. Nothing against the other people that are on there, but I wanted to see what Kurt has to say. I haven't watched it. I'm going to watch it this weekend. See, is Kurt good? I watched 10 minutes of it so far. I think if Kurt Angle puts an Amazon wish list out there, Kurt Angle should ask for a nice webcam. Kurt Angle, it looks like that he's using a laptop with a built-in webcam that is very average. The video quality is less than what I would have wanted it to be. But it's Kurt Angle, so I don't mind. By the way, I want to give a shout out to John. He's a loyal listener. He used to do podcasts. He doesn't do it anymore. And he asked me a couple of weeks ago for my P.O. Box address, and he sent me this live on air. So I plugged it in. The colors look a little funky on the screen, but I thought that was pretty cool. So, yeah, so that's a little addition over here. So much love, much love. Yeah, look, Kurt Angle, obviously a lot of the gossip from leaving WWE in 06 is going to be a focal point. And I know not a lot of people out there are big fans of Conrad. I happen to be one. But one thing is for sure, Conrad is not going to, go down that rabbit hole and put Kurt Angle in a situation where he says some, really outlandish, controversial things about WWE. Kurt Angle had a very dark time in his life, and he pulled out of it with flying colors. His wife follows me on social media. I haven't talked to her in a very long time, but we communicated in the past, and she is awesome. When Kurt Angle gives her credit for a lot of his recovery, you have no idea. I mean, seriously, she is just phenomenal. She's phenomenal. So, yeah, NiceAnalogy likes Conrad's work, and SoFly doesn't. Conrad, it's almost like sushi. Some people absolutely love sushi. Some people can't go anywhere near it. My fiance loves sushi. Me, I can't go anywhere near it. That's how some people are. My stuff, you'll get some people that be like, man, I love his work. I love this, that. And you'll get other people that, he's an asshole. He's a racist. Oh, he's garbage. Stay tight. So it is what it is, man. Parix, I like John Cena a hell of a lot more the last couple of years than I ever did in his whole career. Maybe Thugonomics, I liked him as well. But John Cena is really, shown, a different side of him that I think we always knew. You realize that, he truly is genuinely a good guy. John Cena is beloved by a huge part of the wrestling world. And I think everybody misses him in the ring. And he'll be back. And he still could do it. So I like John Cena. Kobe says I'm the Godfather. Maybe a Podfather. I don't know about Godfather, but I know it sounds like I have a little bit of a cold. It's just from today. Believe it or not, I'm going to start wrapping this up soon. I know we still got the contest. We will do that very soon, very soon. I printed up the hints for the contest. The contest this week should be very easy. If you follow wrestling on a weekly basis, you should get this fairly quickly. I will tell you that it's, like I said, it's somebody who's been on TV multiple times in the last bunch of months. It could be MLW. It could be AEW. It could be Impact Wrestling. It could be WWE. It could be NXT. So when I start throwing out clues, just think of all of those promotions. You should get it fairly quickly. Shout out to Sean Walsh. What's going on, Sean? By the way, for those on Twitch and Facebook and Periscope and Twitter, let me know how the feeds are. This is the third stream that I have all the channels working. Chat rooms in front of me as well. I know just the YouTube one is on the screen. It would be a mess if I start putting multiple chat rooms on the screen, but so far so good. So far so good. And thank you. The man who always fucks up. Love that name, man. The man who always fucks up. Meanwhile, it could be a joke about me. Magnificent Mongo Slade, what's going on? Yeah, Tama probably has beef, but everyone else just wants the Con Bucks. I tell you, I am 1,000 times happier that they're doing some work with New Japan than they did with Impact Wrestling. In fact, it's going to be pretty interesting to see how Impact gets kicked to the curb. Not fully. I think Impact Wrestling is going to get kicked to the curb a little bit with the storylines. See, one thing AEW cannot have feuds with multiple different promotions constantly, because what happens is you forget about your own. You could see that. There are some people that they have totally forgotten about. And in the process, and we kind of talked about it yesterday, and I still think Kenny Omega is on par of being Wrestler of the Year 2021. I made that prediction last year. I'm sticking to it. But Kenny Omega's title run the last 2 months has been garbage. The whole storyline of him walking out doesn't make any sense because he keeps wrestling on AEW TV. Tony Khan is cutting commercials on Impact TV, but doesn't have the balls to come out there and confront his champion. Just let his champion do it. That's why I think Tony Khan ultimately will turn heel and almost do a Bischoff type thing in AEW. I see that a mile away. Because if he doesn't do that, everything that's happening right now with Omega makes little sense. Omega, they're trying to make us think that he's feuding with Moxley. You saw that big detour in the road because Kenta is in the States, and that's part of the deal, as we wrapped up last night's show with. Kenta will feud with Moxley a little bit. That'll give a nice little segue to get Omega away from it for a little while. I think Omega and Kenta will go at it in the near future. And next thing you know, another month will go by and you're going to feel like, okay, what has Omega really done with that belt? Just how I feel, man. Just how I feel. There's a lot of wrestlers in AEW that are very quietly just getting pushed further and further and further and further back. And that's why every week you got tag team matches, 6-man tags, you have, all the, because they're trying to make it look like they're keeping as many people on TV as possible. But in the process, people are getting look at FTR. Look at FTR since they lost those tag belts. Do yourself a favor. Go on Google and just type in FTR matches. And go look at what FTR has done in the ring since they lost those tag titles. Talk about the #1 tag team in all of wrestling for 2020. And when you see, look at him and look what Moxley has done in the last 2 or 3 months. They kind of mirror each other. I mean, it's just, a lot of people don't think it's creating a lot of damage because there's constantly turnover. Oh, just when you think that, it's going to hit a stagnant, oh, here comes Kenta. And just when you think this, here comes the Good Brothers. Just when brothers, can you do it without Matt Hardy and Private Party showing up in Impact? Can you do it without Kenta? Can you do it without some others that there's rumored to be coming in? Take all that away. And then what do you have? You have a large part of your roster that has been neglected. Why? And I'm a big fan of Joey Janela. Not huge, but I'm a big fan of Joey Janela. Why the fuck is Joey Janela getting a title shot for the TNT title next week? When you have title matches, you're supposed to have a little suspension of disbelief that the person you're facing could possibly win. I mean, seriously, why? Oh, because we got to get him back on TV. And this is what you get. Anyway. So Fly says they rushed the Young Bucks match. Keep your eye on that Battle of the Belts. Keep your eye on Battle of the Belts. It looks like Impact Wrestling is really trying to milk a couple of months. WWE in a WWE in a conference call today said by the second half of 2021, they expect to do some live events again. That would be the summer of 2021. Remember those garbage reports that we ripped apart last year that WWE will never go back to house shows? My God, it just blows my mind what some people get away with. And it's every week garbage like that. And people freaking fall for it. It just blows my mind, some of the garbage that you witness online. Connor, what's going on, my friend? You know I appreciate that, seriously. Much love, much love. I hope you're doing well. You know, I do lurk and I see some of the things you're doing with the video games and some of the horror stuff and everything. You got to do what makes you happy. Not what, you know, I don't mean to sound selfish, but you got to do what makes you happy, not what it makes others happy. The funny thing is, I know people right now are like, what are you talking about? You do everything that makes us happy. When you do something that makes you happy, it rubs off on others. You know, just like misery loves company, which I always bring up. You'll see people out there miserable, putting everything down, always a negative, always a negative, always a negative. And you'll see the same usual suspects flock to it. Yeah, man, I feel you. Yeah, man, I feel. But they don't realize that Connor, me, Zimo, Joseph Acevedo, Neil Ray, Darren Gordon, Hill, Soulfly, Bamore, Austin Nance, Jeffrey, happy 33rd. I almost forgot. Happy 33rd birthday, my friend. And I don't need notes. I know you turned 33, so happy belated. I was supposed to wish him a happy birthday yesterday, and I totally forgot. So good you checked in, man, because I would have felt absolutely guilty, man, if I didn't do it tonight. But everyone out there is dealing with shit. Everybody out there is dealing with shit. So you got to do what makes you happy. And if it makes you happy, it'll rub off on others. You know, that's why, you know, I try to stay away from negative as much as possible. And I try to help some out there as well. Trust me, I know we were having some fun yesterday saying that we were, you know, I was enjoying the trolls and everything like that. It's not that I enjoy them or not. You know, I just find it ridiculous that somebody would, you know, waste their time like they were doing yesterday. But at the end of the day, you know, it just shows you there's groups of people out there that just love negativity. You got to do what makes you happy. Makes you happy, it rubs off on others as well. So, Emma Kelly, sounds like I have a big heart. You'd be surprised. I think almost everybody in here has a big heart. I'm just privileged to have this camera and this microphone to express it a little bit. But what you see is what you get, man. What you see is what you get. I just try to be straight up with everyone. I'm not a good liar. And I used to lie my ass off. When I was a lot younger, I used to lie my ass off. And I couldn't keep up with the lies. And I always thought about what my father told me when I was a kid. Anthony, don't lie. Because when you lie, then you got to put a lie on top of 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 a lie. And sooner or later, you're going to get busted. And he was right. And I see it happen online. You know, a couple of years ago, someone will make, you know, a lie about something with, you know, hanging out with some girl or guy, whatever it is, or, oh, I couldn't go here because I got laid yesterday, this and that. And it's like, you don't have to lie. You just say, I just couldn't, I didn't feel like going out. And then what happens, you tell the world that, and then a couple of months later, somebody hits you a little curveball when you're least expecting it. Hey, whatever happened to so-and-so? Who? Oh, yeah, the one that I don't want that pressure, man. Even my fiance, you know, I can't lie to her. And honestly, I think sometimes she wishes that I did lie. Honey, do I look good in this? You want the truth? Yeah, moral of the story, Sam, don't lie. Don't lie. I mean, we all exaggerate a little bit. You know, when I say we had 7,000 people tuned in, it might be 6,600, and I just round it off to the nearest number. Take a drink or a shot, yeah, Neil. For real, seriously. Once I know that everything went well tomorrow morning, obviously, there's a lot of concern over the next couple of days, but I will be taking a stiff drink. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Jeff, who's a hot mess? I know he's not talking about anybody in here, but who's a hot mess? Who is a hot mess? We need to know who's a hot mess. While you're putting that up, shout out to the W. The W. Sending prayers to my dad. Yeah. A lot of people told me that tonight. I should preach. I should practice what I preach. I always tell everyone else, look, you could get upset, you could get mad, you could get happy, you could cry, you could get angry, you could get bitter, this and that. It's not going to change what's going to happen. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Still, you still have that feeling you don't want, the worst to happen. But yeah, I try to. It's in God's hands. I know not everybody's religious, but for me, it's in God's hands. My father is, and I'm not just saying it because he's my dad, he is by far the toughest son of a bitch that I ever met in my life. And my mom probably a close second. So if there's anybody that could pull this through, it'll be him. And I'm not just saying that. So, Neil, you know what? If you end up getting together in New York or we do the WrestleMania thing, yeah, we could definitely have a drink. Absolutely. But who's Taylor Green? Why does Taylor Green not ring a bell to yours truly? I don't know who Taylor Green is. Marjorie Taylor Green. I have no idea who that is. Is this somebody in wrestling? I got to go check it out. You got to give me a day to do that. So, anyway. Oh, you know what? Should I play some Lenny? What do you guys want to do? I could play some Lenny weird audio from 20 years ago. We could do the contest now. Yes, Sev, I'm definitely going to the big event. Absolutely. I'll definitely be there. I will definitely let everybody know in advance. I don't bring it up to rub it in people's faces. I bring it up because I want people to feel comfortable that if we do have a get-together, you don't have to worry about me giving you COVID. But I'm getting the second shot in 2 weeks, no matter what. So, I'll be vaccinated, so my chances of catching or to give it to anyone is going to be very, very slim. Okay, we got a couple for contests, couple for let's... Oh, yeah. Danny Morgan. Yeah, let's do one thing first. Like I said, I printed here for my notes tonight, I printed two things. The hints for the contest and the ratings. Yesterday, my predictions was that AEW would score 811,000 viewers and NXT would score 766. I thought NXT yesterday was better than last week. And in a little bit of curiosity for Edge, even though they only had one day to hype it up, it still got a lot of buzz on the internet. I thought, okay, last week they did like 730 around there. They have to have a little bit of an increase. So I said, okay, NXT will do 766. AEW will improve. And I said AEW will do 811. AEW ended up doing 844. So I was off by 33,000, but I was in the ballpark. NXT only did 610. They got to go to the different night. They have to go to a different night. I made the prediction late last year that before 2021 ends, AEW and NXT will be on different nights. I truly believe sooner or later, USA Network is going to tell WWE, put NXT on a different night. You have to understand, this is 8 to 10 p.m. Now, don't get me wrong. AEW doesn't do that much more than NXT, but here's the difference. AEW is a new company. It is a new promotion. It's going to have a lot of bumps in the road. TNT knew that they we're investing in something that is starting from scratch. It's like any business. You could have pieces of the puzzle, but you still got to put it all together. And AEW has had some big growing pains. They have some issues that they refuse to address. We've talked about it with referees. We talked about it with matches. We talked about it with lack of rules. Early on, Jericho in his podcast would say, you know, we need to clean this up. We need to do this. And it went on deaf ears. Instead, you have Kenny Omega telling the wrestling world, no, people need to adapt. The sign of the times. Just imagine, as great of a wrestler as he is, as much as he works his ass off for AEW, as awesome and as intelligent he is, you don't justify sloppiness by saying, no, that's what it is. I mean, I know he didn't say sloppiness, but the point is, you don't say, well, you just got to learn to 2021. Doesn't work that way. If that was the case, AEW would be a lot higher in the ratings after this time. And it's just hitting a wall. Don't tell me that Team Taz hasn't been royally fucked up in this Sting storyline. 50-some-odd-year-old guy with a plastic bat, and we're seeing Ricky Starks, Taz, you know, Hobbs, Brian Cage running away like babies. Running away scared shit. Don't tell me after a month, 2 months, that that's not hurting people. And getting a pin in a street fight is not going to suddenly make everything better. What they did with Moxley for the last 2 months is a joke. And just because Kenta shows up, that suddenly things are better. Moxley, like, there's no direction with him as the title. He walked out on AEW. Well, storyline, then why has he walked in? All this adds up. All this adds up. The wedding was corny, but we expected it to be corny. That's what wrestling weddings are. AEW wanted to do it. Fine. I'm not going to hold it against them because we've seen it happen in all different promotions all throughout my wrestling fan livelihood. Dream wants me to do the Hobbs face. I don't know which one I like more. Either the Hobbs face, because he always looks constipated. He's like, it's like, honey, did you go to the bathroom yet? That's what it feels like. Every time you see him. And he's got to tilt his head too. Taz could be cutting the pro and look at the back. He's always like this. I don't know if I like that one more or Mickey James. I don't want one of the last memories of Mickey James, like I said, in the ring, looking up at the referee like this. I don't know which one I like better. Theo, all wrestling is scripted. All wrestling is predetermined. I love when people use tape. No, but Ring of Honor is a sport. The fuck do you mean? If the outcome is predetermined, it's a different form of entertainment. It's a sport. The New Japan. No, they're all forms of entertainment. Some are a little more realistic than others. Kevon Lewis, what's going on, man? And I don't mind, but just like a movie, when you go see a horror film, for those 2 hours, you forget that it's a movie. And somebody shows up with a knife. Ah! You know, you're not going to sit there and be like, it's a work. It's a work. She's not really bleeding. It's a work. Chucky ain't real. It's a work. Have somebody sit next to you in a movie theater like that and you want to crack them over the head with your bucket of popcorn. You're supposed to forget about this shit for a little while. You know? Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens, you think there's real, true bitterness? No. But when you're watching them having their feud and having their war, you forget. And that's when wrestling is at its finest. Do I see NWA going out of business? I don't think NWA will ever go out of business. It'll just go stagnant. It'll go stagnant, and then you might ultimately hear rumors of somebody else looking to purchase NWA, and then Billy Corgan will hold out, make it seem like there's this master 20-year plan still to just try to boost up the value a little bit. NWA, to me, and people have asked me this before, and I know I've answered it before. We've been through COVID now for a year, and NWA by far has done the worst job of any promotion out there. I mean, I understand you can't do what you did before, but when you see all of these people that is supposedly representing that company working everywhere else, why can't they work in your fucking building? Then they wanted to do that thing in California, which I'm not trying to brag and say I told you, but when they started doing that revolution, whatever that crap was, and we heard it was in California, we're like, oh my God, California. Of all, no disrespect to anybody who lives in California, but of all the states in the middle of COVID, you decide to do wrestling shows again, you do it in California. That's like me in the month of December saying, you know what? Let's do a volleyball tournament. Let's go to Alaska. Are you fucking stupid? The guy could sing, but you could see he's lost his fire. They don't even mention that Thunder Rosa is an NWA wrestler anymore. Wade Barrett, everybody thought he was rented for a little while. Neil, I'll do the turtle when we leave, man. I'll do the turtle at the very end. This guy actually wants me to like sit and act like a turtle. Somehow we'll segue into a turtle later on, and I'll do it. I'll do it. Shout out to Crazy Cruiserweight. Crazy Cruiserweight, what's going on, man? Yeah, all right. I wanted to show everyone. That's what Neil wants me to do, seriously. That's all I need. And my father does another Google search when he feels better. You know what my father does once in a while, just so you all know. My father doesn't go online. My father goes online to buy Amazon stuff and check email. He doesn't know even how to search websites. He doesn't know how to do anything. He didn't know how to set up the COVID stuff when I set it up. But what my father does do once in a while, every 6 months, he goes on Google, he types my name in. And 20 years ago, he would say, you stole your grandmother's painkillers? Because that's what people would do with fake posting. Oh, de Blasio stole painkillers from his dead grandmother. My grandmother died in 1991. So every so often my father Googles my name and he's like, what's this Don Tony stuff? What's this Tony Cannoli stuff? Why are you stapling stuff to people's asses? Why are you doing this? That's what he does. One day I got to record him complaining. Crazy Cruiserweight, MLW doing stuff with Lucha Libre AAA. He's waiting for what NWA and Ring of Honor are going to do. And DT live in 13 Colonials. Oh, if I had to choose, would I be live in the 13 Colonial era or the prehistoric era? I'd rather be in I'd rather be in the prehistoric era. Because in the colonial era, especially vintage Don Tony, something tells me I would have been executed. I would have been stoned to death for some of the stuff that I would mock and say. At least in the prehistoric era, like nobody would understand what I was saying. So I might be able to get like prehistoric. I don't want to say it. I mean, I know not everybody's heterosexual. I am, so get me some prehistoric pussy, Fuck with the dinosaurs, man. Seriously. And no, when I say dinosaurs, I don't mean Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair. But Crazy Cruiserweight always with the nutsy questions, man. I hope everybody's having a good night. I hope everybody has a good weekend. Weather-wise over here, they were threatening we were going to have a huge snowstorm over the weekend. It doesn't look like it's going to happen, thank God. But want to do this contest? There we go. Those are the autographs. Autographed by Tully, Arn, Lex Luger, J.J. Dillon, and Ric Flair. It is the full magazine. Oh, look. I don't want to mess up the magazine. Look, there's a vintage Shane Douglas, 1987, way before ECW. I've never looked at this magazine, by the way. We see Playboy Gary Hart. There's stuff about Dr. Death Steve Williams, Jerry Lawler versus the Honky Tonk Man, Jesse Ventura. I'm looking to see if there's anything really cool in here. Ah, nice. Road Warriors. Treat us right or we're gone. Seriously. I have podcasters saying that to me once in a while. Yeah, so the magazine, autographed by all five, as you see. And someone who gets the answer right but comes into a close second will get this autograph of Sting. Like I said, it is color. It looks black and white. Actually, you know what? It is mostly black and white. But, you know, it's vintage Sting. I figured somebody get a kick out of it. I've never seen that pose before. So, and like I said, you know, I was going to do it tonight, but we'll wait till next week. That will be next week's prize. You see it's Beckett authenticated. You go right on Beckett's website. You'll see this very one. It is autographed by Shane McMahon and Vince McMahon. You don't want it, throw it on eBay, get $300, $400, $500 for it. It's all good. This is just tape, like I said, so it doesn't fall out. So somebody's going to win that next week. Neil, I didn't do the second part of your super chat. I was going to do both at the same time. I'll answer yours now. Maybe I could get out of doing the turtle later. AEW has a lot of issues, needs to take criticism and learn from it. Neil, you could see it clear as day. You could see it clear as day. I have yet to see one person in AEW talk to someone publicly that gives criticism. You'll see somebody have an exchange on Twitter, and it's usually a wise-ass remark. But there is a lot of legitimate issues with AEW, and no one there even admits to it. They'll talk about growing pains. They'll talk about adjustments. They'll talk about this. But that's their way out. And the thing is, and I don't want to disrespect any podcasters in particular, but there's a lot of podcasters out there that'll accept that answer. Me, I wouldn't accept that answer. I would politely follow up with a question. The thing is, if I politely follow up with another question, I will never get another interview ever again. So people out there are more concerned about getting interviews, getting hits, getting likes, getting followed. You know, that's what they do. That's why, you know, you see a lot of the problems not being addressed. Like I said, I don't mind this Women Eliminator tournament, but there's a lot of women in AEW that they have done nothing to try to build them up or improve at all. Some people have gone the reverse. And then like yesterday when they put up the lineup and Riho is part of the U.S. team, and you know why they're doing that, because they want Riho to fight a Japanese wrestler probably in the finals somewhere, you know, but it's just little things like that. It's always got to, and you know what? Just because AEW is a new promotion doesn't mean that every little thing they do has to be tweaked a little bit. It has to be an extra little change to it. Sometimes you tweak too much. You know, there's an old saying, if it's not broken, don't try to fix it. And it seems like they're trying to fix way too many things, man. Way too many things. Raul Pena. Wow, man. Tuning in for 8 years already. Was watching One Night Stand 2006, saw the Don Tony sign. What is the earliest I remember seeing a Don Tony sign? The year I started, when I became Don Tony. What year was that? Was that 2005? I think it might have been 04 or 05. After I had the incident at the UXW wrestling event with that guy Slash, when I uppercutted him with the cannolis, and you know, that night I got the name Don Tony. Probably about a month later, somebody put a sign. The WWE was in New York, and somebody brought a sign, Don Tony Fan Club. And I wasn't sure if it was for me until I got a private message. I don't think it was Twitter. I don't even know if I was on Twitter yet. It might have been right at the beginning, but I got a BM saying, dude, did you see my sign? And I was like, oh, shit, that was you? And then they did ECW One Night Stand, and then you had ECW that followed after, and there was a guy, the infamous, hanging over the barricade, you know, with the Don Tony sign. The most infamous Don Tony sign for me is when CNN did that special, Death Grip. If you ever go back and watch the beginning of the CNN special, Death Grip, they have a little quick clip of CM Punk at the top rope. I think CM Punk was a WWE champion at the time, or maybe ECW champion or something. And they actually showed CM Punk at the top rope, and it said CNN Death Grip. In fact, next week, I will put the picture up over here. If you've never seen it, you're going to say that is the coolest fucking picture you ever saw as far as like signs, because CNN special, Death Grip, when they showed CM Punk and then they froze the screen and showed Death Grip, big Don Tony sign in the background. Huge Don Tony sign in the background. I popped. I have probably about 70 or 80 different photos of Don Tony signs that have been spotted over the years. There's been a couple others where I just never saved the picture, but I could always go back and watch it on the network and take a screenshot. When Shane McMahon came back that night, there's big Don Tony sign in the background. You know, my favorite from last year. I mean, I don't know if everybody has seen this. I don't know if I have the video handy. If I have the video handy, I will show it to you right now, and it doesn't look like that I will because I don't have my video file over here. I'm trying to find it really, really quick. It doesn't look like I'm going to be able to. This was my favorite part of last year. Shit. Always when you want to look for something, you can't find it, man. Maybe I could find it over here. Let me see. I got to find it. Now I have to find it. My favorite part of last year. Oh, yeah. This might be it. This might be it. Hopefully it's not porn. I got to pause it, though. It might be out of whack, the screen size. Let's see. This was last year, NXT. This was the main event for NXT. This is Velveteen Dream, which I have always obviously supported. In fact, you know what? Let me fix this screen a little bit. Let me fix this. Let's make this bigger. Okay. Let's fix. Why is this doing this? Why am I panning? Okay, that's actually better. Okay, this is better. Yeah, all right. This is probably the two favorites. I don't know if both of them are on here, but this was the main event on NXT. It was Roderick Strong versus Velveteen Dream, and I've always showed my support. And Andrew 914 had a Don Tony sign at ringside, and that is Velveteen Dream shoving the Don Tony sign of Roderick Strong. And for some reason, Velveteen Dream holds up this sign for the entire crowd. See, it wasn't, I was too zoomed in, but he actually picked up the sign and showed it to the crowd, which was fucking hilarious. Oh, please let the other part happen right after this. I don't know if the other part is on here. From Saudi Arabia? I don't know if Saudi Arabia is on here. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. Saudi Arabia. Look, I know that it's a little out of whack, like the Saudi Arabia. Look, get ready. Look, this is Saudi Arabia. Look. Don Tony sign confiscated in Saudi Arabia. Come on, man. That's never happened to anybody else. I know the video, the proportions were off. But come on, man. Don Tony sign confiscated in Saudi Arabia. Velveteen Dream shoving the sign and then he picks it up and shows it to the crowd. Fucking awesome, man. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so. Oh, you know, somebody wanted to see this. I might as well show you. Somebody wanted to see the infamous ladder video and the infamous shredder video. All right, I'll let you see this. Each one is only about a minute long. I had two incidents in my office that people, some of you know about, some have never seen the video because it's never been on the Facebook page. I'll show you both. First one is, I had tried to install security cameras in my office, and I climbed the top of this giant ladder, and I was trying to shove a security camera wires in my ceiling. And I taught defensive driver classes, so there was this big giant TV that was on the ceiling as well. And I started losing my balance, and I tried to hold on to the TV, not realizing that the TV was not strapped to the wall. So I ended up taking a tumble, and the TV came down with me. And number one, if the TV would have landed on me, it probably would have killed me instantly, because it was one of those gigantic tube TVs. The second thing is, I had torn my arm in 3 different places. I tore my shoulder, my labrum, and my bicep, and for a year and a half, I never got surgery on it. So when you look at this, you have to look at the video at the top of the screen. If you're looking at my screen right now, where I can repeat it, but you see where it says they live, and you see Michael Myers, just pay attention to that area, and you'll actually see. I just had these security cameras hooked up for 30 minutes. And go figure that in the first 30 minutes of ever having security cameras in my office, it actually caught it. You'll actually see me fall, and you'll hear the crash. And it was so loud that the office next door heard the crash and ran into my office. Here you go. Get ready. Look at the top. Oh, no. Oh, shit. Sorry. That's the shredder. That's the shredder. We'll go back to the shredder. All right, here you go. Here you go. This was about 5 years ago. Watch the top. You hear me go, oh! You'll actually see me holding my arm. You see me at the top holding my arm. See, I got my hand on the thing, and I'm just like, oh, fuck, what just happened? You see people come into my office. There you go. All right, here we go, here we go, here we go. I'm just like cringing in pain. Yeah.
Are you okay? No. Full? Yeah.
2 hot ladies as well. I should have no-sold it and been like, oh, I'm okay. I'm all right. I'm all right. So now here's the infamous shredder. Now watch close. What happened with the shredder, now if you look, you actually see me in the top right-hand corner. You'll see my forehead. You see my widow's peak over there. Paper got stuck in my paper shredder. So what happened was, I couldn't get the paper out of it, so I decided to spray that canned air. I don't think I have any here right now. That, you know, that canned air you spray and it just blows out air? I said, let me blow the canned air inside the shredder and it'll loosen up the papers. The problem is, I forgot to unplug the shredder. I kid you not. So I know the video is a little bit zoomed in, but I did that for viewing purposes. So I know the text will be a little bit out of proportion, but just watch me and listen, because you'll hear me spraying the shredder. So, all right, here we go. All right, here, check this out. Oh. Sorry. Tell me I'm not a goof. Get ready. That's a fire! Oh, man. Now you'll see me like gagging because all the gas like exploded in my face. Watch. Now the pain and the chemicals kicked in. Watch, look. I'm such a goof, man. And go figure, it's the same exact video footage. Yep. That is legit. 100%. Go figure. Want to do this contest? Let's do this contest. Maybe we'll save Lenny for next week, or maybe I'll do it at the very end. Anybody that doesn't want to hear it, you could disconnect. Like I said, the person who comes in second will get this Sting photo. It is legit. First person that gets the answer right gets the autographed Four Horsemen magazine signed by Tully, Arn, Ric Flair, Lex Luger, and J.J. Dillon. Next week, we'll do the Vince Shane magazine. So now, like I said, who am I? It's going to be somebody that you've seen on TV a few times in the last bunch of months. Could be anybody. Could be somebody from MLW, Impact Wrestling, AEW, NXT, or WWE. I'm going to get into each hint one by one. And the first person that gets the name right wins the prize. Now, we obviously got to put the chat room on the screen to be transparent. Everybody get your fingers ready to type. And you have to type the person's name in full, the person's current name, because that person's name could have changed in recent months or years, or maybe not. You have to type the full name. Don't just type the last name or the first name. That's not good enough. All right. Now think about this. Think about this. I started my wrestling career as a referee. I've refereed, I've wrestled, I've managed, and I've also trained in my wrestling career. I broke into the business in 1998 at age 19, and I am currently 43 years old. 43. The last time I won a championship was in 2001, and it was for a promotion called Great Lakes Wrestling, and I lost my belt to Jimmy Jacobs. I've competed in Impact Wrestling 6 times in my career, and my record in Impact Wrestling is 0-6. It's not Shane McMahon. I fought a former Knockouts champion and a former Impact Wrestling heavyweight champion, and I've also wrestled the current Impact Wrestling champion. I've wrestled the Knockouts champion, I've wrestled the former Impact heavyweight champion, and the current Impact heavyweight champion. I like extra, extra, extra virgin olive oil. Nobody's got it. No, I am not named after a cable channel. Bernie Sanders likes mittens. I like earmuffs. Come on, somebody's got to get it after that one. Oh my God, nobody has gotten it. Nobody's got it. I have only one hint left. Somebody's got to get it after this hint. Taya Valkyrie wanted to do naughty things to me. Oh my God. Nobody got it? It's somebody who's been on TV the last couple of months. Think about it. I've been a referee. I've been a wrestler. I've managed. I've trained wrestlers. The last time I won a title was back in 2001. Oh, wait. Somebody got it, but you forgot part of the name. You got part of the name. Come on, you got to put the middle name. Come on, the middle initial. You got to type it. Come on, somebody forgot. I don't want somebody to lose it. Oh, should we just give it to him? I think he got it. No, because everybody's still getting it wrong. All right, so you know what? We'll give it. So the winner is, let me go backwards. VJ got it. It is Johnny Bravo. Johnny Bravo, that is the name. And yeah, everything. Lee, if you want the Sting photo, Lee, I'll send it to you. I know you're a fan of Stings. I mean, this is not Sting, 51-year-old Sting that could climb a fence, but yeah, that's Johnny Bravo, everyone. I started my wrestling career as a referee. I refereed, I've managed, I've wrestled, and I've also trained wrestlers. I think he's a trainer now. He broke into the business in 1998 at age 19. He's currently 43 years old. The last time he had a title, he lost it to Jimmy Jacobs in 2001. Competed in Impact Wrestling 6 times. His record is 0-6. He fought a former Knockouts champion. I think it was Taya Valkyrie. Fought the current Impact Wrestling champion, which is Rich Swann, and he also fought former champion, which I think was John Morrison. When I said he likes extra virgin olive oil, that was the storyline with Rosemary. He's not named after a cable channel, which is the Bravo network. Bernie Sanders likes mittens. He likes earmuffs. He always wears earmuffs. And Taya Valkyrie wanted to do naughty things to him. She got let go by Impact Wrestling and Storyline because she had Johnny Bravo's shot at the wedding. I think that's pretty. I mean, look, the contest is supposed to be, you want me to say, I am a tribal chief. You know, that's not very, trust me, I wanted to do a Roman Reigns one, but it's very hard to come up with hints for Roman Reigns. You know, come on, there's a lot of John Bravo. I didn't miss you. I'm going to get into you now, man, my friend. But come on, I gave hints that it could be somebody from AEW, MLW, Impact Wrestling, WWE, or NXT. I think I'm very fair with the hints. That time it came down to the very last one. So VJ, I know your contact info, but I want you to email me your address. I'll get this out for you. I'll try to do it Monday. I try to do it tomorrow. If I can't do it tomorrow, then I'll do it Monday. So I want to shout out Juan. Where am I from? My mom's vagina? No, I am from New York, born and raised here. I actually was originally, if I start giving you details, you could do a simple search for me online. I was born in Brooklyn, and I moved to Queens, New York when I was 2 years old, and I've lived in Queens, New York ever since. Is Shawn Michaels in my top 10 of all time? Yeah, absolutely. Shawn Michaels, it's amazing when he came back for the second run after he lost his smile with the back issues and everything. You know, when he came back the second time, we thought it was going to be a quick run, nothing major out of it. And I got news for you. I like Shawn Michaels' second stint in WWE more than his first. I mean, I loved the feud with Bret Hart and I loved everything else, but I don't know. His second half of his career was freaking phenomenal. So I absolutely put Shawn Michaels in my top 10. Is he one of my all-time favorites? I wouldn't put him in my top, but definitely deserves to be in the top 10. Definitely. You know, I saw a few people talking about Nikki Cross today, Jay Carlos. I thought she got released. I almost thought we were getting a bus flip today. I was kind of worried that with everything going on, and then you hear Steve Cutler got released, and I was like, oh, boy. And then people talking about Nikki Cross. I looked online thinking she got let go, and she didn't. So, let's see where that storyline goes. But, even the other day, Lexi, I don't care about you no more, Lexi. I don't believe you, Lexi. And then she falls for the same shit again. It's not her fault. It's the storyline. But WWE has turned Nikki Cross into a fool. And I don't know if you all saw this the other day. I probably have it available. Here, I got it. All right, I got it. I don't know if you saw this the other day. I think I showed it on Monday. See this? Let me just take one off for a second. See this photo? That was before the Royal Rumble. And I'm sorry for anyone out there that saw this Monday. I want to show it again. And it's most of the women that were in the Royal Rumble. And I know it's a little primitive, but I want to zoom into this a little bit. So we go from right to left. We see Lana smiling, Ember Moon, You see Rhea Ripley, Santana Garrett, Tony Storm even smiling. We got Dana Brooke, Tori Wilson, Jillian Hall, Nia Jax, Bianca Belair, Tamina, Naomi with the glow, Bailey, her arch rival sitting right behind her. She even has a little smile. Very cute to see the Iconics, you know, hanging out, hugging each other. Mickey James, you know, very happy to be there. We have Carmella. By the way, where the hell is Charlotte? Well, she's probably prepared with Asuka, but there is Natty. There is Lacey Evans. There is Casey Catanzaro. And by the way, when you see people online saying that Casey Catanzaro was supposed to be in the Royal Rumble as a fill-in for Mia Yim, but they went with Toni Storm instead, they didn't have fucking scoops. They saw this photo, and they're like, oh, Casey Catanzaro is the only one in this photo that wasn't in the Royal Rumble. So we'll say that we got an exclusive. You see how the game works, everyone? We're one step ahead of them. But there's only one person not smiling. There's only one person not smiling. Why are you so sad? Why are you so sad? Seriously. Why are you so sad? I feel bad for her. I honestly do feel bad for her. But that photo, like I said, you look at that photo, and she is the only one that's not smiling. I know, Dylan, she got distracted by something, you know. You know, it's funny. A lot of them, I picture them like all like Chris Van Vliet. I mean, they look like doing still shots. All right, everybody, show me your best Chris Van Vliet. And they're just like, oh, what's your favorite color? Do you like this? What'd you grow up in? What's your favorite lunch? What's your favorite food? What do you like this? What do you like that? Oh, you like this? You like a show? I like yours. You're a great wrestler. Yeah. All right, everybody, let me see those pearly whites. Give me your best Chris Van Vliet. Filet-O-Fish. I have no problem with Chris Van Vliet, by the way. It's just a lighthearted joke. Nothing personal on the guy. I like people that actually have a positive attitude. You know, yes, sometimes you got to get a little annoyed at things. You know, you get a little bit of agita. You got to be able to show it. You know, too much smiling, then it feels a little bit manufactured. So anyway, everyone, I'm going to start wrapping this up. There you go, Neil. There you go, Neil. Just to show you, I'm wearing pants. See, look, I got jeans on. There you go. There you go. He wanted me to do the turtle. I don't have the right balance for it. I think he did that to just try to bust me and see if I was wearing, like, boxer shorts or something. But no, I am dressed. I am dressed. I believe it or not, I might even go to sleep dressed, because the last time when my mom had her surgery, my father got a call and they said, get to the hospital because your wife may not make it. And we raced to the hospital. So if there's any complications at all, I want to be able to run out of my house 5 minutes, pick up my mother, and go right to the hospital. Like I said, the surgery is set for 6:30 this morning, and it's supposed to be 2 to 3 hours. So obviously I'm not going to have a great night sleeping, but hopefully I'll have some good news, you know. Neil Ray, he doubts he'll be able to meet me at Mania and have a drink because of his new job. Hey, there's plenty of time for drinks, Neil. Believe me, that's one thing later this year and next year. The plane fares will remain dirt cheap for the foreseeable future. So I plan on going to Florida a couple of times. My parents have property in South Florida. So if I could make a trip out of it for like 4 or 5 days or a week, I plan on going. I want to go to an AEW event. I want to go to NXT. There's a few people in NXT that, you know, I want to see them in person, shake their hand. Joseph Morrison. Screw WWE for not bringing Melina back for the Rumble. She deserves so much more. Look, Joseph, I'm saying this, not defending WWE, but we can't jump to conclusions thinking that WWE didn't ask her to appear. It is very possible that they asked other people to appear and they couldn't. Maybe some didn't want to go for COVID concerns. And I know what you're going to say. Well, Melina showed up at the Legends reunion, so why wouldn't she show up for the Rumble? I get it. But there could be a dozen reasons why Melina wasn't there. Until we hear Melina tell everyone, no, I wasn't asked, I wasn't invited, maybe there's a bigger picture for her as far as a return. Right now, I wouldn't jump to any conclusions. I think that's the problem with a lot of people out there. They jump to conclusions. You know, some people, you know, they try to be slick. Like I said, with the Casey Cannizzaro thing that came out today, you know, that you could see a mile away. They see the photo. She's the only one not in the Rumble, but is in the photo. Oh, Casey was going to be used, but they went with Tony Storm instead. Seriously. So, anyway, before I jet out of here, some of you out there have this fascination with my old wrestling hotline from 20 to 25 years ago. And for the last couple of weeks, I've been playing some audio that I have in old hard drives of a whack job by the name of Captain Lenny, who had his own wrestling hotline, and for some weird reason would flood my hotline voicemail with insane messages, calling out various people that I never met, never hung out with. One tried to take me to court. I still don't understand to this day. And one of the guys, this guy Lenny kept calling out, is someone by the name of Howard Weiner. And this guy Howard Weiner started leaving messages on my hotline. So what you're about to hear, I will warn you right now that there are some expletives. There is some sexual content mentioned. If that doesn't make you feel comfortable, you could disconnect now. I will see you Monday with Mish. I will definitely be on social media tomorrow giving updates about my dad. Yes, I know I don't like social media, but I do obviously use it when I absolutely have to. But for those that do want to stick around and check it out, I'm going to share with you more. Do you remember I said I have about 40 to 50 hours of this stuff? Just imagine me doing a wrestling hotline in the 90s up until mid-2000s and having, you know, regular people enjoying the hotline, being the number one hotline in the United States, and waking up the next day trying to clear out messages of real wrestling fans, and in the midst of it finding 40, 50, 60 messages from all these groups. So back then, for some weird reason, I decided to save all of them, never thinking that I would be sharing them 20 some odd years later. So a lot of this is just random stuff, but for some reason people get a kick out of it because these are very weird people, and I'm just playing some random stuff, and this is stuff that was left on my hotline, and believe me when I tell you, this is pretty mild compared to some of the stuff I still have. But for some of you out there, look, Thursdays, all your shows, all the days are your shows. But Thursdays in particular, it's all request. So when a lot of you request this, I grant the request. So now I give you just some random audio. This runs 10 minutes long. So right now, what time is it? It's 12:04. We'll be done by 12:15. And again, if this doesn't interest you, you could disconnect now. You're not going to miss anything. But for the last 10 minutes, you get to experience what I used to be greeted to, just simply trying to do a wrestling hotline.
I can't while away the hours, confronting golden showers, consulting with the rain. If I only had a brain.
Discard, press message discarded.
And hello, boy, to you. I will now do my rendition of ABBA. Sing that song, dig that seed, Vinny is the closet queen. Oh, I want to do a different song. I want to do a song by the name of, oh shit, what
Trust
the
me,
fuck
it gets
was it?
twisted.
Well, you know, I got things on my mind.
And Lenny does make an appearance, by the way.
He's going to be in front of my house. Hey,
Message.
Vinny, I'm going to put you right through the fucking window! How you doing, Mike? Say hello to my friend. Hi. Hey, this is a Michael from Sicily. Say hello, Mike. He's in the mafia, too. Hello. Ah. Yeah. That's Big Michael. You see? He'll tear you up, Vinny. Now, look. I'll talk to you in a second. I'll be there. Anyway, getting back to all this shit. That was Big Michael, Lenny. You want to confront Big Michael, Lenny? Well, I got an appointment with Vinny Z now. Howie, you are a piece of garbage. And I challenge you, one-on-one, put your hands up, Howie, because you wouldn't have a chance with me. The police would come and lock your ass to the cross. You know,
they'd leave this on my voicemail. Why me?
Mental institution the other day, and I thought it was you and your mama laying in that institution at Bellevue at 18H. You know the mental institution I'm talking about in Bellevue Hospital, Howie. Yeah, Bellevue. I asked if you escaped, and they said yes, David Weiner escaped from the mental institution. By the way, Dave, whatever happened to your hotline? You genetic freak. I guess you didn't pay the $75 for EFLS for 3 months in a bunker. Another one bites the dust. Do. Another one bites the dust, and another one done, and another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Boom, 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 boom. Another one bites the dust, and another one, and another one.
Oh, it gets better.
You know. Welfare, Captain Ivan, you will be no more on BDG's line, and I shall take over BDG's line tonight, yay! And call my hotline, the Wrestling Pro Driver Minority Chokeslam Report at 212-465-3318. And the fans can call me at 212-677-7804. Play it again, Sam, tonight. Bye-bye. Oh, Zimman Double, Mazel Double, Zimman Double, Mazel Double.
Imagine waking up to this every day.
And you know what, Howie? The 60th precinct is closing in on you, and Vinny Z, the 43rd precinct, is closing in on you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
To discard, press 3. To keep, press 5. Next.
You're so shady. I bet you think this song is about you, don't you? And then you went to Saratoga, and yours naturally won. Yeah, big vein in your little cock of lady situation.
These people are in their 60s.
You Warren Beatty, John Kennedy, Mick Jagger, wannabe motherfucker. Vinny J. You buy and do a total eclipse of the sun and the moon.
Message discarded.
Hello, Jimmy. I went to a Jewish funeral on Sunday. It was so right. And when I thought about BDG's mama,
I have no idea if they've ever fought. I think they've had sex with each other for real. I'm not kidding.
I thought about you wearing makeup. And, hey, whatever happened to Dave the generic freak line? The man hasn't updated in about a week and a half. Do you know Channel 21 the other night had Mike Douglas on? Do you know Superman had on last night? The one with Haiti with Perry White's sister. Remember the one with the Indians and the natives? You remember that one? That they fly to Haiti? Hey, remember Haiti? You remember Superman, the bird is the blame with Phyllis Coates? Yeah, they had on that one the other night. You remember the one, Drums of Death? Boom, 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 boom. Drums of Death, boom, 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 boom. You remember, you watch Superman every night? You ain't got nothing better to do. So you watch TV then. And remember, Bewitched, they had one with Samantha with the grass. The guys come in, they cut the grass. You remember that one, Howie?
Yeah, you remember that one day with me? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And you know what? Dave, the genetic freak, went under. His hotline is no more because the update hasn't came on in a week and a half. Yes, I went to Bellevue to visit a friend, and I went to a funeral the next morning, and I begged in front of Bellevue Hospital for hot dogs. Yes, I did. I begged for money, and if I have to beg in the streets for SummerSlam money, that's exactly what I'm going to do, because I'm going to be the beggar that begged for SummerSlam money. Bye-bye.
To discard, press 3. Message discarded.
Good morning once again. Now I drank a little apple juice and I feel a little more spry. For an old man, I would have to use the adjective spry. Now, I'm going to try and land an interview with the real Captain Lenny in the next few hours. All you fucking got is VD Dubai. Vinny G, you don't have an urinary duct.
Message discarded.
Now, Vinny, on a not political level, I am very attracted to you. Vinny, you've got olive skin. Vinny, you've got beautiful blowjob cum lips. Beautiful lips, Vinny G. Vinny, you got a nice, tight ass. Whether it's from liposuction or whether it's just natural. Vinny, I fantasize every night that I can put my dick in your mouth while you suck me high and dry through my wall. I put your cute little...
This is what I woke up to on my hotline every day for years.
Vinny, are you ready? For the millions of people out there and all the fucking people watching on TV all over the world, let's get ready to hump you. Vinny, I want to put my penis in your smooth, tight ass, Dubai. Vinny, I want you to tongue kiss with me while you stroke my cock. And when I come, I want to shoot the whole load like in quartz, like an elephant, Dubai, like an elephant, Vinny. I want you to sit on my face, Dubai. I want you to fuck me to death. Fuck me, fuck me, fuck me, fuck me, fuck me. Vinny, you don't have much going, but I am into looks. I love your face.
Very uncomfortable.
I love your beautiful streamlined waistline, Dubai.
There's only 1 minute left.
To discard, press 3. Message discarded.
Vinny, yeah. Vinny, you do a wedgie. Vinny, has your ass do tricks. Vinny, does your ass do tricks like Vince McMahon. Vinny, let me ask you a question, Vinny. Yeah. Vinny, could you do wiggles like Norman Smiley? Vinny, can you do wiggles like Norman Smiley? Vinny, my cock is getting real hot like a fucking firecracker, boy. My cock is getting real hot there, boy. Wiggle that ass. You know, Vinny, some people got a high ass. You got a low ass, Vinny. And that's just my size. Can't you see that you're just my God, thank you, and you're just my size. Vinny.
Kill me, all I want to do is you and screw you.
Vinny, screw you and your mother too.
Message discarded.
All I wanted to do from 1997 to 2005 was a wrestling hotline. And I used to say on my hotline, guys, I'm not giving these messages to Vinny G. You know, talk to him directly. Why are you calling my hotline? I have about 45 hours of this stuff still. And if you think I'm exaggerating, it's got to be at least 40 hours worth of this stuff. I found a file the other day that was 5.5 hours long. And all it is just messages. And it was funny because I saved one message because I started playing a couple of them publicly, hoping that they would stop, and people would be like, these people are disturbed. And that's pretty mild compared to some of the stuff. I just haven't been able to go through it. Some of them have some horrendous language that I wouldn't play on here. I would censor it out. But no, Lone Wolf, I never met any of them in person. The Vinny G guy I met in person. I showed you all a picture of him once. He used to dress like Michael Jackson. I don't think I have the image in this computer. I could show you next week. But he looked just like Michael Jackson. He would dress like Michael Jackson. He took pictures with Vince McMahon, took pictures with Linda, Shane, Stephanie, Triple H, John Cena. I don't know why they would pose with him, but they would post pictures with him. And he used to send them to me. And I just was very, very weird at that time. So, yeah, I don't have the pictures in the computer over here, but I could put some of them in there next week. And you get a little idea of what, what these people look like. Yeah, these people are very, very weird, man. But, look, you get 2, 3 messages, 4 messages, you laugh at it. But you do your hotline, you go to sleep, you get up, you go to work, and maybe during a break or lunch hour, you're like, oh, let me check my messages from the day before. It's like now, let me check my emails, let me check my DMs, see the feedback. Now imagine going in there and expecting to hear, feedback from people listening to the show and this and that, and you get 40, 50. Last week or the week before when I played some, you heard it say 77th message. I mean, it was sick, and I couldn't do nothing about it because it was a public hotline. I couldn't file complaints. They were calling a free wrestling hotline. They had every right to leave the messages. There's one that they were talking about somebody by name of Little Michael. I don't think it was a child. I'm 99% sure it wasn't a child. But the way they carry on, it's just disturbing. I don't even think I would play that stuff. But just to give you an idea of what I went through back in the day. Twisted, man. Absolutely twisted. But with that said, I'm going to jet out of here. Right now it's about 12:20. One good thing about tonight is I don't have to do any timestamps. So I just put it online. Hopefully I'll be passed out by 1 a.m. And, I will definitely say some prayers tonight, and hopefully everything goes well. Not good today. So, Lee, just DM me your info. I know who you are, obviously. So, and then I'll get it out either tomorrow or Monday. Yeah, everybody. Yeah. So everyone, much love as always. And look, anyone that caught the show late, check out the beginning of the show later, because I just absolutely loved all of the emojis and just all of the activity. It looked like a lit up Christmas tree. I mean, the beginning of the show was just, that was just really, really nice to see. I know it sounds a little corny and everything, but to see everybody having a good time, just enjoying yourself, getting your mind off of your bullshit that you're going through, and to see just, all the colors. I love it. I love it. So as we get more members, we can add more emojis. It'll get even more. See, we're getting colorful now. So we started the show with a lot of color. We end the show with a lot of color. And everybody, again, thank you for everybody that stopped by tonight, everybody who sent a contribution in. Like I said, every penny of it, and I will obviously match it and more, and we'll pick up a nice basket for him, and I will take pictures. I will put everybody's name on it, and I will tell him, this is from a bunch of friends online. And, I hope for the best, man. I really do. But everyone, have a great night. As always, before you go, if you enjoyed the show, hit that like button. And if you didn't like the show, hit the dislike button, fine with it. But I'll be back here Monday with Mish. I will not be here tomorrow. So I apologize, but like I said, even if the surgery is flawless, even if my father is up, even if I talk to my father tomorrow afternoon, I need to stay with my mom tomorrow night because she is pretty leveled over this. This is not something that she expected. So my father will, he's a tough son of a bitch. He'll rough it out. But my mom, she's taking it pretty hard. So I'm going to spend the weekend with her. And I'll probably have to bring the bird back here. So next Thursday, you might get an appearance live from Freddie. So a lot of you have seen him already. You know what he looks like. But I'm probably going to be bird sitting for a couple of weeks to take that stress off of my mom and when my dad comes home. So Darren Gordon Hill, much love to you. And yes, definitely include you as well. Absolutely. So everyone, have a great night. Have a good weekend. All the best. Remember, next weekend we have NXT TakeOver, which lands on Valentine's Day. So there will be a recap. And I don't know about a watch along. Maybe. We'll see what happens. I mean, one good thing about NXT, their shows are a lot shorter. They usually are about 2 hours, maybe 2.5 at the most. So that's far cry from 4.5 hours at the Royal Rumble. So maybe we'll do a watch along. We'll see what happens. But yeah, my father would love a basket of burgers. My father would love pizza. He'd love Italian food. If I give him fruit, he'll be like, what am I going to do with this? So, but no, I mean, I have an idea what I'll get him, but I know what he likes. Right now, the most important thing is that he gets through this surgery. He is an older person, and, I just want him to, stick around for a little bit longer. So, all right, everybody, have a good night. Much love as always. And I will definitely, for everyone who is legitimately thinking about him or concerned, I will post an update tomorrow the minute I hear it. So, thank you, everybody. Have a good night, and thank you for helping me tonight as well. Believe me when I tell you, Guardian of Chaos, much love to you too. This was very therapeutic tonight, very therapeutic. So I thank you all. Believe me, if you enjoyed the show tonight, believe me when I tell you, when I say it, I enjoyed it just as much, being able to talk to all of you and just have some various conversation. I'm absolutely loving Thursday nights. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Mondays, and I enjoy Wednesdays and Fridays and pay-per-view recaps. But, there's something about Thursday. There's a different vibe and a different dynamic. And, people have told me, going back to the 90s, people have told me that some of the better shows are the shows that there is no prep, no notes, no preparation, nothing. Just wherever the convo goes, that's where you go with it. And for some reason, people, seem to enjoy it that much more. There's 1,000 wrestling shows out there covering news. But, I could have just covered the Lars situation by just giving you some news tidbits and getting out of here, but I try to make it a little more personal. Shout out to Chris. Chris trying out Super Chat for the first time. You succeeded, Chris. Much love. I thank you for that. I'll definitely include you as well. But everyone, have a great night. Have a great weekend. And believe me when I tell you, I will not forget today. Regardless of whatever happens, I will not forget today. So you really helped me a lot, and I thank you for that. So have a good night, everyone. Have a good weekend. I'll talk to you soon. Night, everybody.